Welcome back, my friends, to the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I am your host, Wilk Wilkinson, your blue-collar sage, calming outrage and helping to navigate a world divided by fog and those who would spread that fear, outrage, and grievance. Each week, I'm sharing stories from my path and using the power of conversation and collaboration with my many great guests. Together, we chart a course toward understanding, bridging divides, and fostering a community where wisdom prevails over discord. Friends, it really is about bettering the world one attitude at a time. We did not create the hate, but together we can derate the hate. The only good thing about a bad attitude is we have the ability as individuals to change it. For me, it starts with gratitude and personal accountability. I am so incredibly grateful that you have taken the time to join me for another powerful DTH episode. Please remember to subscribe and share the DTH podcast with your network of friends. If you would like to support the show, check out the Support Us page on the D-Rate the Hate website. With that, my friends, let's get to it. Today's guest, Judith Costa, brings a unique and powerful approach to something so vital in our lives: love. But it's not just about love in the romantic sense. It's about unconditional love, self-love, and taking responsibility for the relationships we have with others, and most importantly, with ourselves. Judith is an unconditional love coach, happiness trainer, and speaker who has spent years helping people to remove those inner blocks that keep them from truly embracing who they are. With a master's degree in Analytical Psychology and Psychotherapy, she's also a certified Akashic Records and Reiki Master. Her work spans a variety of areas, including self-discovery, past life regression, and even astrology, all geared towards helping people achieve happiness, abundance, and genuine connection. In our conversation, Judith and I dive into what it really means to love yourself, how it's a state of being, a decision we make to live authentically and fully. We talk about how often we hand over our happiness to others, how self-sabotage keeps us stuck, and why forgiving ourselves is essential to moving forward. Judith's approach isn't just about feeling good, it's about understanding that love is always within our reach. She teaches that when we take ownership of our happiness, embrace our mistakes as learning opportunities, and become our own best friends, we can transform our lives. So if you've ever struggled with self-acceptance or felt like you're getting in your own way, this episode is for you, my friends. Let's explore these deep themes of love, forgiveness, and self-discovery with the incredible Judith Costa. Hey friends, it's Wilk, and before we get into this week's incredible episode, I would like to tell you about another podcast that you might like from our friends at Braver Angels. A Braver Way with Monica Guzman is a podcast that's about politics, but it's so completely different from any politics show that you've heard. Each episode leaves you with a better understanding of your fellow Americans, even ones who, when you hear about them on the news, totally confound you. Their goal for the current season, which I absolutely love, is to help you face this election year without losing heart. You can find it at braverangels.org/abraverway or by searching A Braver Way wherever you get your podcasts. Friends, I absolutely love this show, and I hope you'll give it a listen. And with that, let's get to this week's episode. Here we go. Judith Costa, thank you so much for joining me on the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I do appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
That is so fantastic. Thank you so much, Judith. When you had reached out, there's two things that struck me right off the bat, so that's where I want to start. But one, obviously, you talk, so maybe three. One, obviously, is you talk a lot about love and the idea of unconditional love, and then also the idea of self-sabotage. So Judith, let's start our conversation with the idea of unconditional love, and what is it about unconditional love that really got you started in this, or what does unconditional love mean to you, Judith?
Yeah, I think that we have to learn those things that you will teach later. And we are all educated more in our lives since we are kids in what is conditional love. I love you if you behave a certain way, if you look at a certain way, if you do what I say, and if you are not the way I want, then I stop loving you. And this is the way we relate. We think that we have to be different people, that we cannot be ourselves because we don't want to be rejected. We want to belong, we want to be loved. And we are kind of accumulating experiences of rejection, abandonment that tell us or confirm us, since the authority figures when we are kids, to the friends and relationships that we establish, boyfriends, girlfriends, even husbands or wives, that we cannot be ourselves because we are afraid that if the other people see the way we are, they are not going to love us. Unconditional love is the idea that we can love without a reason, without condition, as the name indicates, because we want. We think that love is a state or it's a feeling, but it's more a decision that you make. You can love someone in spite of who the other person is, no matter their behavior, because you choose to love. But we have connected very well these two ideas of love and relationships, like if it's the same, and it's not. Love, it's always there for you. Love will never abandon you. Love is unconditional, if it's true love. And you have it. You have it inside of you. That you can never lose it. No matter what happens in relationships, a relationship is like two individuals trying to love better or do the best they can when they relate. But unconditional love, it's a state of being where you can love everything and everyone that exists in this universe.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think of love, Judith, I love and happiness and how they relate to each other and how they make us better people as individuals. One of the things that I talk about so much is individuals and how each of us is this individual being, and it is not anybody else's responsibility to make us happy, just like it's not anybody else's responsibility to make us love or bring out the love in us. It's something that we have to have for ourselves, and the more love that we have, not only for ourselves, but for the world that we live in. For me, I think it starts a lot with gratitude, but for all the things that are around us, the more we have, and I believe I read this in some of the things that you've written, the more that we have, the more love that we have within us, the more that it's going to kind of spill out for those that are around us. And I think one thing that, and this kind of goes to that self-sabotage thing that I also want to talk about, but one thing that really stands out for me because of my past and for people that have known me for years, you talked about relationships, Judith, and I was in more than my share of really ugly and toxic ones. And I came up with a phrase a very long time ago that if somebody equates love to what you will or will not do to make them happy, you will never win. You will never win. So talk a little bit about that, and then, let's just go there for the moment.
We tend to put our happiness in the hands of others. And that's very dangerous because then you are always a victim of the circumstances. You will never be happy unless the world around you and the people around you are perfect or treat you the perfect way. then, as you were mentioning, the more love you have, the more you can share with others. And this love, when you give it, it can come back to you multiplied. But we are not trained in the idea that loving oneself is the key to have happiness and success in life and better health and more abundance. Because we understand that for our upbringing and religious beliefs and et cetera, that we have to be there for others, that others go first. Love is self-sacrifice, that all of this is what matters. Then loving yourself is what will allow you to be there for others. Because you cannot give someone what you don't have. If you need to hold the space for another person, you have to be okay. You cannot be at the same level, because if not, you both will cry and that's it. But if you have to sustain someone, to empower someone, to give them a different perspective of a problem or whatever it is, you have to be there for yourself first. Then when you cultivate this sense of gratefulness that you mentioned, but also all these qualities that self-love contains, like the self-appreciation, that stop judging yourself or comparing yourself with others, being honest with yourself, stop self-sabotaging your life or your goals, and expressing what you need, what you desire, setting up boundaries. It's a super big concept, and you cannot maybe do everything at the same time. You should choose those aspects that are more complicated for you, and one by one try to master that. But what is important is that when you learn how to forgive yourself, you will be more forgiving with others.
Yes.
If you make a so-called mistake, that it's just a decision, but you feel like you have done something wrong, and you can be there for yourself and let it go and learn from it and really let it go, you will be able to do the same with another person.
Yes, absolutely.
And the most important practice starts and ends within yourself. Then you have the control, the total control. When you said, I really relate when you said about that we ask the others to make us happy. I did that in my first marriage, totally. Yeah. I thought that the source of the problems were outside. And what I learned is that I needed to love myself more to really be responsible for my life and take the decisions that will make me happy and fulfill and realize whatever you want to say.
Yes. No, and there's a couple big things in there that you said, Judith, that means so much to me, and I just want to highlight them. Is number one, you cannot give what you don't have, and when we expect of ourselves or others expect of us to give something that we don't have, it is a self-defeating prophecy. It is a painful proposition for us to try and do something for somebody that we just cannot do. And if we don't first take care of ourselves and love ourselves and be the person that we know that we can be, we cannot be expected by others to be something that we are not. And no matter what we're doing, we should never be expected to be something by somebody that we are not. And so often people get, and this is just from, I say this out of my own experience, I say this from conversations that I've had with others, they get into these situations where they allow themselves to be put in a position where they don't feel, and this was the other thing that you said that just resonates, when we are expected by somebody else to be something that we are not, or do things that we would not normally do in our own person, our own personality, we find ourselves in this ugly internal battle that goes to that self-sabotage thing that I know you talk a lot about. That self-sabotage to me means that we try to do things that don't fit who we are to try and make somebody else happy. And when we fail at those things, we beat ourselves up and break down our own love for ourselves. It is this perpetual cycle of ugliness And then that cup, we cannot do for anybody that we don't have within ourselves. Our cup just gets less and less full.
Yeah, the problem, what you call self-sabotage, that it's true, I call it self-sacrifice. I have lots of clients that have this problem. We tend to make ourselves small in the presence of others because we don't really know who we are, or we are not able to shine with our own light. Then it's easier to go through life being authentically you. It seems like it's such a big thing, but it's much easier. You don't have to put a mask. You don't have to say things that you don't believe. You don't have to betray yourself every time someone asks or says something. You can say no with lots of love. But it's important to be honest with yourself. And to be honest with yourself, you have to reflect. You have to spend time alone in your own company, knowing exactly what works for you. And we don't do that. A lot of people have a style of life that it's like, okay, whatever you want, just to be with you. I'm going to cancel myself and be whoever you want to be, like attached to you. And we will be happy ever after. But it doesn't work, because there is a moment where your soul says, no, I cannot do this anymore.
That's right.
And you have a crisis, or you have a depression, or you lose someone, or the other person abandons you because maybe fall in love with the best version of yourself when you were really yourself. And then you become someone else totally different that really doesn't have the same light, and then this person decides to leave. It's a complicated thing because it's very connected with everything that we have accumulated. We think that we make decisions consciously, but we don't. We make decisions depending on all the things that we have accumulated in our unconscious. And for those that believe, even things that we carry from our ancestors, from our genetic or lineage, or even past lives. Then we have a lot of things that we are not aware that guide our behavior, even our thoughts. Then that's the reason why it's important to really look at yourself. What do you really believe in? Is there any thought that you can transform, actualize?
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's all. Those are very incredible points. Is you talked about a mask, or putting on a mask to try and be something that you're not for somebody that you want to be with, but eventually you're going to catch up with yourself. Eventually, the person that you are, or the person that you want to be, is going to catch up with the person that you're trying to be. And you may make it through for a while, but it's not going to work all the time. And something that you said there, Judith, that I've spoken with so many people about over the course of my time, my journey, whether it was when I was in a healthy spot or an unhealthy spot. It's a conversation I've had with so many people, because we see so many people, or at least I have. I've come, I've been friends with, or been involved in some way with so many people who try to be something that they are not for the sake of being with somebody that they want, but it's certainly not the person that they need, and it always catches up with you. It always catches up with you, because if you cannot be your authentic self, and you try to be something that you're not to be part of somebody else, you can either fall into complete codependency where you do not exist in the relationship. You're just a cog in the wheel. You're just there. Or eventually you finally realize that I need to truly find myself. This is something that I had to do for myself, my personal journey, to try and overcome some of the misery that I've experienced in my life, Judith, was to finally just say, you know what? I need to spend a lot of time alone. I need to spend a lot of time by myself, no complications of any relationship or anything like that. And I need to find out who I really am before I can ever be the person that I need to be for somebody that I can truly love. I think that is one of the hardest revelations that a person can come to. I think it was one of the hardest revelations that I have ever come to. But Judith, talk to me a little bit about that, because that is one of the things. Humans are social creatures. We belong together. We have this bond, or we should have this bond with another human being. It's important. But so often people do it for the wrong reasons. I've seen it lead to some miserable situations. But the strength to say it's time for me to spend some time alone before I can ever be the person I need to be for somebody else. Talk a little bit about that, Judith.
Yeah, I mean, I relate with what you explained, but let me transform this into a more nicer conversation, because sometimes we think that the relationship we are in is not the right one. That's the reason why it ended. But from a soul perspective, relationships are laboratories of the spirit. It's where we learn how to love and how to be loved. And that's the reason why we are here. The rest is pure decoration. It's the stage, but you are here to learn about love. Then you enter in a relationship with someone that maybe doesn't allow you to be yourself, or that loves himself or herself very, very much and tries to occupy this space. But this is not a mistake. This is the way your soul has chosen to put yourself in a situation where you learn or you learn. Or you learn. Then, there is a moment where you have to realize that it's not enough to leave the relationship and to look for someone else. Like if the problem is in their relationship, it's important to look at yourself and say, okay, what is the pattern? When you ask people, when I ask my clients, like, what are your complaints in the past relationships that you have had? Then people say, no, he wasn't not paying attention to me, or she was not available, or she was not there, or we couldn't really move forward. And you ask about the relationship that they had with themselves. They say, but were you paying attention to yourself? Were you there for yourself? Were you moving forward with your life? No. The answer is always no. Then the relationship there is a reflection of what is happening inside of you. The decisions that you are not making are taking the relationship in this direction. Then we are afraid of just standing in our power and setting up boundaries and saying, this is not working for me. But if we don't do that, there is no growth. And if there is no growth, the relationship ends. No matter if you don't divorce or you continue together for the children, but it ends at the level that you are not doing what you are supposed to do inside of the relationship. Then I had two husbands, very similar, different personality, of course, but they showed me that very clearly. I didn't know how to love myself. I had no idea. And I canceled myself. I abandoned myself in the relationship. I did it very well. I mean, to the limit. But it was not a problem of how they were. It was that I needed to love myself more than the need to be there in that relationship. And it took me years, as you were saying. But I still have a good relationship with both of them. And I really appreciate what I have learned from both.
Okay.
Then it's not about, now I'm going to choose a different kind of man. No, now if I'm with the same kind of man, I will be myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I will put myself first.
Yes. No, I think what you're saying is very, in a lot of ways, similar to what I was saying, and going back to what we were saying earlier is you can't give what you don't have. And if you are not putting a true emphasis on yourself and loving yourself and knowing yourself and recognizing your own needs, if you can't even recognize your own needs, it's very, very difficult to ever recognize the needs of somebody else. I mean, if you're not taking care of yourself and loving yourself and really, truly leaning into the person that you are, I don't know that you can ever truly lean into the person that somebody else is. And that's not to say that all relationships are always going to work if you do this, but what I'm saying is is if you don't take the time to know you, if you don't take the time to fill your own cup and recognize your own value, as my friend Reggie Wilson says, you can never fill up anybody else's.
No, and others are not going to recognize your value as well. Then you will feel frustrated, less than, or never good enough. And that's a lot of population goes around with this idea that they want to be seen, but it's not possible for them to show who they are because they are afraid of not being loved. And again, love is not a relationship. Love is not a concept. Love has to be demonstrated into action, starting with the way you treat yourself. What are the opinions that you have about yourself? Do you do things that you like? Do you invest time in your own nurturing, taking care of yourself and things that you really like and are for your own development? Then it's important to understand that, you may have trauma from past relationships, even from since the moment you were born, as a kid. We all have suffered, but are you able to let it go? Are you able to forgive those that hurt you as a sign of love for yourself, as a commitment to move forward with your life and free yourself from past issues, from past wounds, from relationships that didn't work? Because the important is, what are you going to do from now on with your life? Not what happened. What happened is the past, and you are not going to transform the past, but you can change for sure your present and your future.
Yes, absolutely. No, and that brings me to another thing. You talk about self-forgiveness, Judith, and what you're saying right here to me sounds like we have to be able to forgive ourselves because we blame ourselves for so much of the trauma that we see throughout our lives. And if we ever want to move forward, if we ever want to take these steps forward and move forward on a better path, as I talked about with another friend of mine in another recent episode, we have to be able to forgive ourselves. I mean, forgiving other people is incredibly important, but forgiving ourselves is one of the first steps in that. And talk a little bit about self-forgiveness and give us some action items, Judith, on how a person can forgive themselves for the maybe the transgressions of their past or the things that they have experienced that they blame themselves for, whether that be true or not true. What are some of the action items people can use to get on that path of forgiveness?
It's a shift in perspective. Like, not forgiving is blaming yourself. It's feeling bad about what you did. But there is nothing good coming out of this. Then we all have done things that we are not proud of. And it's okay, we are not here to be perfect. But the important is, are you able to really make a conscious choice that you are not going to be in the same position again? That's the essence of forgiving. It's not about condoning the facts or saying that you have to repair what you did or others did to you. The most important is, I am here, what matters, and I can change my life. And this is a decision, a conscious decision that I make. Because I matter, the only way that I have to disconnect from those events, those relationships, those things that happened to me, is to choose myself and to let it go and forgive. But we have the forgiveness concept coming from the religion, no? That you forgive because you are a good person. Then that's not the idea. You don't have to resolve the 50% of the other person. The other person will have to do their work. But you have to deal with what is in your field, okay, in your area.
Yes.
Then the concept is the same, if it's self-forgiveness or forgiving others, but we kind of see it separated. because sometimes it's easy. We are less hard with others than we are with ourselves.
Yes.
And it's not really necessary, but again, forgiveness is a strange word that has a lot of load. It contains a lot of load, but it's really what will allow you to be yourself for the rest of your life. Maybe you have been acting in a certain way because that was the only way you had. People look backwards and say, oh, I made these mistakes. No, it was not a mistake. It was a decision that you made with the information that you had at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You had to act, and this was what you did.
Yep.
Then you are a divine being. You are more important than your acts, your thoughts, and your experiences here in the human body.
That is right.
Then if you really remember who you are, if you really know the light that you contain, the love that you are made of, forgiveness, really it's easier to understand. But it's not about waiting that the time pass, or that this is forgotten, or that imagine that never happened, or being a good person. No, it's just something that you do to set yourself free. And we tend to wait a lot before we forgive or we let go. And we carry a lot of baggage. And one thing that I teach my clients is when something happens, in the moment right there, let it go. Mm-hmm. You can be 2 minutes with something, 2 hours, 2 months, or 2 years, or 20 years. It's up to you. Because you are the one that keep it alive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In your mind, in your world, in everything. You tell others, look what happened to me, I'm a victim, and how someone could do this to me. And you continue adding more energy. Instead of saying, no, I am important, I matter, and this ends here because I choose to. And whatever are the consequences, I will be helped, I will support it, and I will move on with my life because I can. Then I don't care what tool you use, or your conscious mind to say, okay, this is over, and I put a dot at the end of the sentence, or the Ho'oponopono, that is a Hawaiian technique that using 4 words like I love you, thank you, please forgive me.
Yep.
I said it wrong, but
Ho'oponopono. We talked about that on the podcast with I apologize, I forget her name right now, but I love you, I love you, I love me, I forgive you, I forgive me. It's one of the things that stands out. So many things that you've said here today, Judith, stand out to me. But when you talk about how long we choose to beat ourselves up for whatever choice it is that we made is another choice. And we should not follow up one bad choice with another bad choice and continuing to beat ourselves up rather than moving on and learning from. Now, I talk about this a lot. People have heard me say this so many times. Every mistake is an opportunity for learning. And we need to recognize the bad choices that we have made, learn from them, but then learn from them and move on. It's that move on part that people have such a hard time with. They don't make that choice. That is another choice, and we cannot continue to beat ourselves up because then we are just following up one bad choice with another bad choice. Every mistake is an opportunity for learning, and I want people to understand that. The key to forgiving ourselves is to recognize what we have done, learn from what we have done, move on, and don't make that same bad choice again. Judith, this has been an incredible conversation. It's flown by way fast, a lot faster than I expected, but so much of what you are saying is so important. Here at the D-Rate the Hate podcast, Judith, it's about bettering the world one attitude at a time. This is the kind of stuff that people need as individuals to make their lives better lives. So, Judith, give me some parting words. The work that you do with your Love organization, the different techniques that you use, the different things that you talk about, so important. How can people find you, and what are some parting words you want to leave the DTH listeners with today? Yeah,
the parting words are but become your best friend. Self-love is not complicated. A lot of people ask me, I want to have a better relationship with myself, but I don't know where to start. Then it's very simple. Just treat yourself the same way you treat those you love. Be your best friend. That's it. Be there for you. Listen to yourself. Be kind with yourself. Don't judge you. Empower yourself. Be your fun number one. Be there in every sense, in every way you can. And you will transform your life. Just by doing that, you're going to see a big, big shift. And also trust love. Love will never abandon. Love is not a relationship. Trust that love goes always with you. It's always available. And it's already there. Tap into that power is the most important force in the universe. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then when you get that, you are unstoppable, really invincible. And about what I do, then I coach people. The reason why I have this title of Unconditional Love Coach is because I don't help people with relationships, but with the relationship with themselves and with this concept of how you can take your life to the next level. No, happiness and self-love are really connected. And I do it through different techniques or tools. We can do coaching or past life regression therapy. I also do consultations on something that, let me say the name, Akashic Records consultations. It's like connecting with the book of your soul where everything about you is recorded. And really you can ask any question, it will be answered. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to really better your path, as you say, Wilk, and to learn more about you. And I have retreats also and workshops on self-love and different things. I think that the easy is to go to my website, Judith Costa, and there you will see everything. There is a contact form. If there is anything I can do for you, any question you may have, if you want to have a short conversation, just send me an email, call me, and we will be in touch. And you will find all you need in there.
Very good. Well, Judith Costa, all that information will be in the show notes for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me here on the D-Rate the Hate podcast. I do appreciate the time. I greatly appreciate the conversation, and keep up doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Me too. A pleasure. And again, from Love, Love, and Love organization, let's create a more loving world altogether.
Friends, if there's anything in this episode that provided exceptional value to you, please make sure to hit that share button. Share it with your friends, share it far and wide. And of course, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe right from our website so you can get the D-Rate the Hate podcast sent to your email inbox every week. So this is Wilk wrapping up for the week saying get out there, be kind to one another, be grateful for everything that you've got, and remember it's up to you to make each and every day the day that you want it to be. If there is something that you would like to share with me, you can catch me on most social media platforms, or you can email me directly, wilk@wilksworld.com. With that, my friends, I am going to back on out of here, and we will catch you next week. Take care.